This is Buckeye legend Mike Tomczak, and you're listening to OVE Podcast. It's Ohio versus everyone. Subscribe, like, listen, and follow, and don't forget your comments. Here's the show, and remember to always wash your BALLS.
Hey, it is the OVE Podcast. It's Wrestling Today. It's the Torque from QFM 96, and if you're hurt at work or on an accident, let attorney Robert Schuerger go to war for you at warforyou.com. OVE Podcast, it's a Wrestling Wednesday. Appreciate your time this afternoon. I know we're an hour late. I had something going on, and we had to delay the show. BJ, who's the co-host, he's on a tarmac in Dallas. I'm going to go solo today, but what we want to do this as we reach the road to WrestleMania. We want to continue to give you at least once a week wrestling content. So I am looking for you guys to chime in today as we ramp up. I believe we're 3 weeks of WrestleMania. And Kiers, I wanted to start this right off the bat and want folks to chime in on this. Does it take away from WrestleMania at all that they've been overseas for a month? Because to me, if you're doing a major heel turn, and it's arguably the second biggest heel turn in wrestling history, the love John Cena, the hustle, loyalty, and respect is no longer a good guy, I would want to know from a creative standpoint where this is heading. Because we know one thing about wrestling. What works in one country might not work in another country. Case in point, Bret Hart, when he had the Hart family. Remember Brian Pillman and Jim the Anvil and Owen Hart, and they reunited. They were loved in Canada everywhere they went, hated in the States. In this case, you have John Cena making his first appearance overseas. And I get it. It's easy for him. I know he's filming right now overseas. So it's easy for him to probably make the day trip, probably goes there in the middle of the night, then leaves right afterwards, different time switch, different time zone. But you're a month away from the States. And it's really hard to gauge what's working in creative when you're relying on a foreign crowd. I'm not calling them uneducated. I'm not calling them stupid. What I'm calling them, though, is desperate for attention, desperate for the product, loving the product, and just because something works there, I don't know if it will work here. And that's what I'm curious. Do you think it's too long? Because usually when they do these out-of-country Raws and special events, they're only gone for a week. I don't recall, and you can help me out in the chat, I don't recall the WWE being away from the States this long. Because, and we're going to get to in the second segment, the John Cena and Cody Rhodes promo. Because I think a lot of that promo hit home, and I'm just really curious of John Cena, the fan reaction to John Cena in the States, I think it may be different. Because when he turned heel, you had a lot of cheers. When Hulk Hogan turned heel with the NWO, they became the baby faces. Now, WWE did everything, WCW did everything in their power to not let that happen. But I think bad booking, bad direction from Eric Bischoff, they became the hottest thing. There were NWO signs everywhere. It got too big. Also, you let the inmates run the asylum. But NWO was more popular than WCW. That's factual. You can't even debate that. The merch, the promos, the pay-per-views after them, NWO is more popular. I'm just curious what the United States... Now, granted, Hogan's character was a different bad guy. It's Hollywood Hogan. I've gone Hollywood. I do the fake, Ryan Day just for men beard. I get that. Totally different. They were in a group. You don't see What Rock every week with Cena. I get it. It's done differently. Cena's still the same guy. He's wearing his jorts. He wears his t-shirt. But that's one interesting thing, I think. I can't gauge what the fans like in these different rivalries because it's overseas. They're just different. They're never there. WWE is never there. The fans are eating it up. The fans are loving it. The fans are great. The fans are chanting. You're getting exactly what you want if you're the WWE from the foreign crowd. Report that they make $35 million per show. I don't know how that equates. Maybe they're selling tons of merchandise. Maybe the tickets are expensive. The pound is expensive. I don't know. Maybe it's premium because they're never there. I'm not sure what the prices are. But they're crushing it. But for a month away, that just seems an awful long time to me. A couple other things before we get into actually what has gone on this week. And listen, people have criticized us for not doing more AEW. I started the show 2 weeks AEW. We talked about AEW last week. When AEW puts out a product that deserves our attention on this podcast, on the OVE podcast, I'll give it tons of attention. I will do the whole damn podcast on AEW. I was an AEW mark when we first started doing this podcast a year ago, and we were doing only one segment on Thursdays. I want AEW to succeed. They are the underdog. I liked a lot of aspects of it. I like very little of AEW, and I'm sick of being negative about it. I'm sick of harping on the same thing. One thing WWE did this weekend that I really found interesting. By the way, Harry chimes in. I love the overseas shows. But Harry, do you like it for a month? Because I love the overseas shows too. I love the chanting. I love everything about it. I'm just wondering, is it too much? Harry, my guy, though, longtime listener. Harry, Clipper season starting. I know you're going to be at the Columbus Clipper games. Huh? I just don't. I think month is a long time. I love what they're doing. I love the chants. I love the energy. I just don't. A month. It's just hard for me to gauge where they're going. I guess we're going to find out in the next 3 weeks. And Little Italy chimes in. I like the launch at AEW. Yeah. There was a time, Little Italy, during COVID where I thought AEW was the better product. I thought at the tail end of the Vince McMahon regime at WWE, AEW was the better product. And I don't think you can even debate that. Another great point by Harry. I solely hate watch AEW. I'm with you. And Harry was at the Clipper game last night, my guy. Next time I go, I'll get in touch with you and we'll hook up and I'll buy you a beer. I hate watch AEW too. WWE Hall of Fame did something interesting, and I wanted people to chime in on the comments because I think this is really interesting. Are you in favor of WWE allowing matches into the Hall of Fame? Because we saw it for the first time. And I guess if you're going to start doing this, this is the match you're going to do it with, right? The WrestleMania 13 match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold is the first match they are letting in to the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, I wonder a couple things about this. Is WWE only allowing WrestleMania matches in the WWE Hall of Fame? Because to me, the Undertaker Mankind match was at Hell in the Cell, I believe. Was that at a Hell in the Cell pay? Because they've had Hell in the Cells outside of the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. Was it like an Armageddon or something? Someone chime in on the text line and the chat line. And by the way, super chats are open today. So you could chime in on super chats and help out the show. I believe it was a Hell in the Cell, but if you're only going to put WrestleMania matches in the WrestleMania Hall of Fame, well, then you picked the right one. Because if you recall, and they have this, I always go back to the WWE when it comes to factual information. I've had people debate me on the chat, like, no, Torg, this damn. I go, no, I just watched it on the WWE network. It's a great resource to go back and look at the rivalries. They have rivalry series and documentaries where you could see for yourself leading up to it. Sometimes we forget. But if you remember the Stone Cold character coming up with the 316 at King of the Ring, beating Jake Roberts, you weren't quite sure. He was a bad guy, supposed to be a bad guy, Bret Hart, good guy. And that started the Stone Cold Steve Austin double bird, drinking beer. Stone Cold 316 said, I just whipped your ass. The fans, he won over the fans at that WrestleMania. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I'm right. he passed out to the sharpshooter. And usually before that time, you've had different guys pass out since. But usually for the majority of the time, 99% of the time in wrestling, to that point, WrestleMania 13, most guys would tap out, right? Not Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was bloody. He wouldn't tap out, and it was a great rivalry between him and Bret Hart. So I think a couple things. One, that was an outstanding match at WrestleMania 13. And two, it launched Stone Cold Steve Austin. I am for letting matches in the WWE Hall of Fame. Absolutely. I'm absolutely for it. By the way, Little Italy, save your money, dude. You're getting married. Little Italy, I remember moments more than I do full matches. Correct. And that's what's so special. I'll leave this up while I talk about it. That's so special. The special part about when you have a Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, it told a story in the ring. The Undertaker, Mankind told a story in the ring. This past year's Royal Rumble, where you had like 5 Hall of Famers and then Logan Paul. Somehow WWE find a way to let Logan Paul in the Hall of Fame, but whatever. Those are matches you remember. The Ric Flair 1992 Royal Rumble. There are matches you remember if they do the storytelling correct. And one thing, Little Italy, they don't do now is they're so quick with pay-per-views every month, Saturday Night Main Event, Saudi Arabia shows, that they kind of hurt buildups of shows, of main matches. Do you see what I'm saying? That you see, to me, Punk Rollins should have been built up and not the first night of Netflix. Because now you have Punk Rollins, then you have Punk Rollins in a cage, now you have Punk Rollins and Reigns in WrestleMania in a 3 when it gets watered down. The right way to do it, because in my opinion, Rollins and Punk are the 2 best wrestlers in the WWE. Punk is best on the mic as well. But to me, that's a WrestleMania match. Okay, you need something to do with Roman Reigns. You throw him in there. But to me, Rollins, Punk would have been one of those matches that you're talking about, that you remember moments, not matches. And you're correct, most people do. I think WrestleMania 13, I think you remember the matches, right? Curious, just let me know in the comments. Are you in favor of WWE letting matches in the WWE Hall of Fame? And if so, is it just WWE matches? Because to me, then you're letting a lot of stuff out. And the problem why you're letting matches in because you're WWE is because you screwed the Hall of Fame up. You took the Pro Football Hall of Fame approach and you started letting in and started becoming the Hall of Good. The Hall of Fames are the elite of the elite. And baseball screwed it up recently with Harold Baines in. He's not a Hall of Famer. And they're letting guys in now, the Baseball Hall of Fame, who are not Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers are dominant guys in their sports. No one's ever said in the 80s when Harold Baines was in his prime, oh man, Harold Baines is one of the best in baseball. You never said that. Baseball let him in the Hall of Fame. Baseball has a criteria, or football, excuse me, where they have 5 players, a veteran, and then a contributor, like a GM or whatever, or a broadcaster, right? They let too many players in. Every year, it's got caught up over the years when they started doing this, and the Hall of Fame, it got caught up. There wasn't enough players that retire every year to keep this. Same with WWE. Coco Beware is in the WWE Hall of Fame. Right? Coco Beware is in the Hall of Fame. Guys who aren't winning titles are in the Hall of Fame. The way the WWE works is, and I don't even know if Coco Beware won an Intercontinental Championship or a Tag Team Championship with someone. The way it works is you do the time, you put in the work, and they reward you for that work. And the greats, from their work rate to their mic skills, and you get rewarded and pushed to the top. I don't even know if Coco Beware even fought for the title or was ever in a major feud, but he's in the Hall of Fame. Who is it now? Tugboat and Typhoon? Or maybe they're the same people? The Natural Disasters are in the Hall. They won the WWE title once. And I think they were good guys at the time. So now we're letting in people who win the title once. To me, if you're going to let people in the Hall of Fame, it's Edge Christian, tag teams, Dudley Boys, Road Warriors, right? Teams like that. Wyndham and Rotundo, the Hart Foundation. Those are Hall of Fame. New Day, Usos. You get where I'm coming. Truly elite Hall of Famers. I never looked at the Natural Disasters. Oh, boy, they're one of the best tag teams. We got to let them in the Hall of Fame. WWE watered down their Hall of Fame to where now they have to let matches in to make it relevant. And I think it's the right call. Little Italy chimes in. Does Lesnar versus Taker Bacon the Streak get the moment or quality of match? I think it gets the moment. I think you're right there. And I think they screwed that up. You have to, if you're doing things like that, like taking the undefeated streak of Roman Reigns away, you have to give it to the Undertaker away. You got to give it to someone that can do something with it. Brock Lesnar, what did breaking the streak do for Brock Lesnar? Like, honestly, what did it do for Brock? It did nothing for Brock Lesnar. What did breaking Roman Reigns' streak do for Cody Rhodes? It did everything for him. The push has done everything. It's made him a mega star, a main event star. If you're going to take a title from someone or a significant streak from someone, a mask, hair, whatever it is, you have to be prepared for the push afterwards and push that guy because it's something special that's been taken away, something special that you cared about as a wrestling fan. You cared about the Undertaker streak. What did they do with it afterwards? Okay, they did have some series of matches. I think Brock Lesnar was fighting Seth Rollins for the title and Undertaker came from the ring. So it did create a moment of revenge for Undertaker, but I don't think that's good enough. I think it was inevitable that you had to let matches in. And good thought, genius thought. Whoever thought of let's let matches in Little Italy, you could have done moments, but you got to do matches because that match was the start of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the launching point, made him a star. Guys in wrestling have these matches that made them a star. And that was Stone Cold's. I think everyone remembers that. When did Stone Cold become a star? You point to King of the Ring, winning King of the Ring, and then you point to Bret Hart WrestleMania 13. Every wrestler, there's either moment, like you said, Little Italy. There's either a moment like Seth Rollins turning on the Shield or a match that propels them to the next level. Give me more time, and I could come up with the match for every guy. Like, hey, what was Roman Reigns' match? What was CM Punk's match? They're there. I just didn't prepare for it, to be quite honest. One more thing before we take a break, and then we will do more of what happened this week. We'll start with SmackDown and do Raw. We're actually going longer than I thought, which is good. So I might take like 2 breaks out. I'm going to delete the end of the show break and just roll through and do 3 segments today. One thing I want to point out, if you watch NXT, guess who won North American Champion? Ricky Saints. Guess who WWE is making a megastar? Ricky Saints. Guess who started? Now, let's go back. Who started the Ricky Saints push? Tony Khan and AEW. They had a homegrown guy. I know he was in different areas, but I'm talking about homegrown when it comes to big boy wrestling. They had a guy who was a star, and they were building that stardom. Good guy, bad guy, great on the mic, involved in major feuds, and they squashed him and didn't put him on TV. Did they squash him because he was at the Royal Rumble with Cody Rhodes? Wasn't it the Royal Rumble a couple years ago? Or one of the major pay-per-views, and we just can't have that. I can't have an AEW guy at a WWE event backstage, even though he wasn't used. Ricky Saints is another example of a star that WWE is going to create. A mega star. He's great on the mic and he can wrestle. And he's got it. He's got it. He's got the charisma. He will go as far in the WWE as Triple H allows him. He's not big, 220 pounds. I don't think that should prevent you from pushing a guy, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, not the biggest guys. Cody Rhodes, not the biggest guys. But yesterday on NXT, beat Shawn Spears for the title. And it's another failed wrestler from Tony Khan. And I don't know if Tony Khan, we're not WWE, but Tony Khan, don't you create stars? Isn't your whole goal is I want to create guys, I want to create wrestlers that people want to watch and turn on the TV? Unless you're not into having characters and wrestlers that people care about. Maybe that's your thing, Tony Khan. Maybe you don't want people to watch you. Maybe you don't want to create stars. Maybe you want to take a WWE star and give him a catchy name like Cope. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you want to take a bat full of nails and let it stick through my heavyweight championship's bat. Do you hear what Rob Van Dam said about that? Not my thing. Thought it was awful. And isn't he the hardcore, like when it comes to hardcore legends, don't you look at like Mick Foley, the Dudley Boys, the guy in the Sandman, Rob Van Dam? Wouldn't you put Rob Van Dam in the list of when you think of the extreme wrestlers? Wouldn't you? And he's like Sabu, but when Taz, but when Rob Van Dam goes, dude, that's not, it wasn't necessary. Tony Khan lives in this imaginary billionaire world. If you ever talk to rich people or met people, I've been in a million locker rooms with athletes, like star athletes. And this is how the press treats star athletes, with kid gloves, and they laugh at everything they say. And they don't want to ask them hard questions because they don't want to get on their rough side or their bad side. They want to kiss their ass. I've been in a million locker rooms. I've covered a million teams with big stars. You get in the locker room and you kiss their ass. And that's what I think is going on with Tony Khan, is that everybody's a billionaire. Everybody's kissing the boss's ass. They're bending over and they're joining the kiss your ass club that Vince McMahon had, where Vince McMahon would actually stand up to talent. Tony Khan, another failure. And you keep chalking it up because the biggest stars in the WWE are guys they took from AEW. Cody Rhodes, he was an EVP. There was no reason for him to leave. CM Punk, no reason for CM Punk to leave. He was your biggest draw, biggest free agent acquisition you've ever had. You had him with Adam Page, and Adam Page goes off script, pisses CM Punk off. Who am I dealing with? Children here. MJF was a good feud. CM Punk had some injury issues, but there was a lot on the table for CM Punk to do in AEW. And it's another missed opportunity from Tony Khan. Let's take a quick break. 60 seconds, we're back. Something interesting happened in SmackDown. Now, I'm going to tell you something I was right about. Sometimes I'm wrong, but about this podcast, it's our opinions. And we throw a lot of things out when it comes to storylines. What if they did this? What if they do that? Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. We were actually right about one on Raw. And I think I'm right about the main event night one on WrestleMania. Now, obviously, we know it is Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. But I'm going to throw a twist at you, and I think I'm right. And you can tell me if I'm right. We're back in 60 seconds. Wrestling Wednesday on the OVE podcast.
We go to war for you.
At Schuerger Trial Attorneys, we don't back down. Accident? Call us today at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com for a free consultation. Know your rights because results matter.
That's 877-WAR-FOR-YOU. 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com.
War for you. Warforyou.com.
Dan Robb Management has over 40 years experience in all aspects of payroll, processing checks, tax filing, W-2 and 1099 preparation. First-time customers get 50% off their first 3 months processing fees. Give them a call now, 614-297-1158 or denrobmanagement.com. The OVE podcast, Ohio versus everyone on a Wrestling Monday. I'm the Torg. Listen to me mornings, QFM 96. Good call by Little Italy on the chat line. Want you to chime in. I'm going solo today. BJ is stuck on a tarmac in Dallas. to kind of further my point about CM Punk, you gave CM Punk his own show. You're right on. They gave him Collision. They had Dynamite Wednesdays. They had a show centered around CM Punk called Collision. Good call. Forgot all about that. SmackDown. Pretty interesting. I wonder where they go with this U.S. title, LA Knight, Strowman, and Fatu, Jacob Fatu. And it's hard with LA Knight winning the title because let's be honest, ever since LA Knight won that United States Championship, that dude's a fighting champion. So he has had a lot of feuds. So it's really hard to do something fresh and new with him because he's kind of gone through the gauntlet of people there on the SmackDown roster. I believe they're going to be doing a new draft in April, maybe the end of April. That's kind of what the rumors are. But really, when you look at it, and they did do a few trades there in the first of the year, but for the most part, he has faced every challenger. And I know Nakamura came up, and now Nakamura's pushed. What did I say? If you watch this podcast, wrestling podcast on a regular basis, all right, you're bringing Nakamura up. He's back after a very long time off. I don't know if he was injured or just creative didn't have anything for him. So do something with him. So they had him beat LA Knight, and now he's gone again. What are you doing to this guy? Fantastic wrestler, can be a great character. Doesn't have to be a main eventer. But why is he completely out of the picture now? After a couple months. Now they're setting up this Friday in 2 days, Strowman versus Fatu, like no holds barred. Wonder what that happens from that match. And are they going to do another 3-way? Are they doing a 4-way? Because they're doing a 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship I'm going to get to next segment. But are they going to do a 3-way with LA Knight, Strowman, and Fatu? Does that interest anybody? Because for the most part, LA Knight and Strowman are kumbaya. And then it would be them ganging up on Fatu. I don't know if they can add Jey Uso. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Do they add Nakamura in that? Do they finally give... and maybe it is Nakamura's not on this European tour. Maybe there's visa problems. I don't know. But do they throw Nakamura in this mess? Put in your comments of what you think they're going to go or what would interest you. Harry said Shinsuke's going back to Japan. Probably should. I mean, he's made money in WWE, right? And you probably want to go back home and you want to go somewhere where you can be a huge star and used, right? Like Kenta. Remember Kenta in WWE? He went back to Japan. He's bigger than ever there. Great wrestler. WWE doesn't nail a home run with every wrestler. And I don't want to be a WWE mark where I pretend to kiss their ass that they hit with every wrestler because they do not. I'm going to give you a wrestler when we talk about Raw. Or no, I'm going to give you a wrestler here next that they have not next, but in 2 storylines here that they have ultimately failed with. But I don't know if it's WWE or the wrestler in this case. In Nakamura, is it the wrestler or WWE? In this case, I think it's WWE. They used him when he first came up. Great matches with AJ Styles, great rivalry. Pat McAfee would get a Hofty when his music played. You had Ricky Boggs or whatever the hell it is, his tag team partner playing the guitar. They had something going with Shinsuke, and it's just not there anymore. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with both parties moving on for the betterment of both of them. I have nothing to do with for you. You can collect a paycheck, but I know you probably want to work. So I think that's probably why. I'm just curious, though. I think you'll finally see something after the Strowman Fatu of where they're going to go. Let me bring this up. I think I got to give flowers to Naomi. I think she's been absolutely fantastic. And I want to know what the hell's going on with Jade Cargill. Okay, Jade Cargill, you know the storyline, gets laid out. She's out many months, gets revenge in the Elimination Chamber, beats up Naomi. Naomi and Bianca Belair have a breakup, tearful breakup. And ever since then, the build for this match, it's all Naomi. And that's the interesting party. That's the person who's piqued my interest. If you watch SmackDown, B-Fab, is it K-Fab or B-Fab? B-Fab and Minshew are walking in the hall. And there comes Jade. And who's carrying the conversation? It's Minshew and B-Fab. Like, we're going to take care of business tonight, and you're going to take care of your business with Naomi. What is that? How does that make Jade and push her in her feud with Naomi when she has time on TV and she's not? Remember when she was at AEW? Not a great wrestler, but at least she was like, bitch, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what she'd say. Me and the baddie's going to kick your ass. Short, sweet. Did a great job wrestling. AEW didn't do enough with her. Should have put the belt on her. She knew to get bigger, she'd have to go to WWE, just like MJF. And I'm with the comments. Can't wait for MJF and WWE. I am with you. I just got a feeling WWE might not launch him the way we want him to be launched. Worried a little bit about that. But Jade Cargill should be a badass doing promos. Like, you took me out, I'm going to take you out. I was sitting on the bench 6 months. I'm going to sit you on the bench 6 years. Your husband is going to be feeding you through a straw. I'm the baddest woman on the planet. Now, I did like the interaction between Jade and Charlotte Flair when Jade was walking out of the ring after saving B-Fab and Meechin, and Charlotte Flair walked out. I like that. I like that. But Naomi was the one who came out, disposed of Meechin, and then beat the crap out of B-Fab. I like the violence from Naomi. I like the promo from Naomi. Naomi's turning into a badass, where Naomi is saying, I was good. Now I don't care. I'm in business for myself. Love the way Naomi's taking his character. Something I don't love, but I'm wondering if this is the best it's going to get, in all honesty, is Drew McIntyre and Damian Pierce. Is this the best? I love Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre can start a feud with anyone. But is Drew McIntyre is this the best it can get with Damian Pierce? Because I don't know. Again, I'll ask this question for the chat. Is it Damian Pierce or is it WWE? Is it WWE or Damian Pierce? Because he was never great in NXT. And they gave him that belt in WWE, and it seemed like he couldn't do anything with it. If you put the belt on a guy, you're right, Harry. Harry puts in the chat, it's Damian Priest. You know what? If they put the belt on you and you can't do something with it, that's on you. Because not every guy gets that belt. And Damian Priest did nothing with it. The only time Damian Priest got something going was when he was with the Judgment Day, and it took a turn of the Judgment Day. Judgment Day was best when it was Finn, Damian Priest. I called him Damian Pierce earlier, didn't I? I apologize. Damian Priest. And then Finn Balor. That was the best. And ever since then, I get it. They wanted to break everybody away from that group. But ever since then, Damian Priest has been a lone turd in a toilet bowl. Just not good. And it's hard if you're Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre's kind of hinted to this in interviews like, this is what I'm doing, WrestleMania. Damian Priest is not a top guy. Turn him bad. Because as a bad guy, you have something with him. Good guy, Good guy, And to me, Drew McIntyre needs this, and he needs to go over. Because Drew McIntyre is too good to go on a losing streak. He's too entertaining. He's too big. He's too badass. He's too good of a wrestler. He's too good on the mic. He makes you hate him. He is too good. What have I been saying about WWE forever? Villains make the rivalry. They are on a villain shortage. Drew McIntyre is a good villain. Get him over on Damian Priest. Two quick things, then we're going to take a break. Rey Fenix on SmackDown. Curious of what your thought is which brand do you want to see Rey Fenix on? Because you would think with his brother, they would do Raw and then have Penta Phoenix. Is it better for WWE to have the brothers, the Lucha Brothers, on different programs, and then maybe you reunite them in the draft? Because what you have now in WWE is you go to Raw and you have the War Raiders, and they're making more of a badass. They've dumped the Viking thing, and I think that's smart. They've dumped the Vikings thing, called them the War Raiders, and now they're in like leather jackets and skull caps. Right way to go. The Viking gimmick was stupid. Not at first, but it played it out. Now they're badass dudes, tatted up arms, bearded, War Raiders, perfect. You got New Day, good tag team. Street Profits, good tag team. Am I missing another tag team that's top of the line? You have the Lucha Brothers. You have 4 strong tag teams in a weak tag team organization. But there's so few of them, they cycle through each other. I wouldn't mind one tag team championship belt that goes through both shows, because then you get better rivalries. I just don't think the tag teams are strong enough for a belt, especially now that the Usos are no longer a tag team. I don't think it's strong enough to have, because look at Street Profits. Who are they fighting? Right? DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, pretty lame. Now, I mentioned a couple podcasts ago, you want to save the tag team division. Solo Sikoa and Togatama or Tangaloa, whoever he is, Tangaloa. They got 2 guys named the same, brothers named the same. It confuses me. Have those guys challenge for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Then you have the Bloodline trying to claim gold. Great idea. The Bloodline takes gold back. They said it last week. Jacob Fatu said, I'm bringing gold back to the Bloodline. Have the Bloodline, the other 2 members, fight for the Street Profits for the tag team champions, because they Street Profits have been champions for like a month and they've gone through every tag team. That's why I'm not sure if Rey Fenix starting on a different brand is good or not, because the natural thing would be to have him with his brother, and then you feud versus New Day. Lucha Brothers, New Day. Can't tell me that's not a winner. And the good thing about the Lucha Brothers is they can be good guys, bad guys, depending on the match. Penta's super over, though, and maybe WWE looks at it and goes, dude, Penta is too over to put him in a tag team. And maybe that's how they're looking at it. Of WWE's looking at it like this. We can always make them a tag team later. Let's give Penta this run as a solo star now and see how far it can take him. Again, though, we've had Penta gone from the States for a month. Let's see how the United States fan, I think they're going to love him. I think they love him wherever he goes. But just throwing that out there, maybe they have maybe they wanted to have Phoenix on Raw in debut, but instead Penta was getting too big. Let's keep Rey Fenix on SmackDown. Because you know what I smell, guys? I smell El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix at WrestleMania. That's what I'm smelling. I am smelling, because they're debuting Rey Fenix. Chad Gable and Rey Fenix sometime in the next couple weeks going head to head. Because we've had El Grande Americano against Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, unless you want to bring Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. Maybe you want to do that again, but he's already beat Dragon Lee. Rey Fenix and him would put on a barn burner. Last thing for SmackDown, and we'll take a break. And I'm going to give you a prediction. I think I'm right on this. You had Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. Reigns was, I built it. Rollins was, I maintained it. And Punk's big thing was, by the way, Paul, thanks for putting me in the main event of WrestleMania. but this isn't my favor. You know what the favor is going to be, folks? Here's what the favor is going to be. Paul Heyman, you are in my corner for WrestleMania. That's going to be the favor. Now that added another level of interest in this main event at WrestleMania. You know the history of Rollins and Reigns. You know the history of Rollins and Punk, right? What are you missing? You're missing the Rollins and Punk, or excuse me, the Reigns and Punk. Now, I think if you're pretty smart on the wrestling and know behind the scenes, Roman Reigns doesn't like CM Punk. Like, off TV. Roman Reigns, Rollins used to ride together. Friends, really good friends. They don't care for CM Punk. Roman Reigns has the same feelings for CM Punk as Seth Rollins does, but that's not Roman Reigns' thing. Roman Reigns is a part-timer. He's kind of above that. You know, we're like, I'm above this. I'm the guy who built this. But he's just above that as a character because he's not here every week. But if you can be next Monday, could be on SmackDown this week, could be the following. Because what you need is this to build for 2 weeks. But CM Punk gets in the ring and goes, I'm going to tell you, Paul Heyman, even you could have Paul Heyman start Monday Night Raw with the mic and talk about the match. I just signed the biggest WrestleMania, but I have one question and I want to bring CM Punk. CM Punk's music hits. CM Punk gets on the mic. Paul, I love you. We're brothers. We've been through it. We started together. You've always had my back. And I'm ready to cash in my favor. Then Paul Heyman goes, well, I gave you the favor. It's the main event of WrestleMania, which you always wanted. I gave you the favor. And CM Punk says, no, that's not the favor, Paul. You're in my corner for WrestleMania. Boom. Now you've made it. Rollins and Reigns already have it. Rollins and Punk already have it. Reigns and Punk now. Yes. Yes. It takes the story they have main eventing WrestleMania. Each individual story. Punk, this is my first time. Rollins, I'll do anything it takes to eliminate CM Punk. But why is Roman Reigns there? Because he got eliminated at Royal Rumble? Because Seth Rollins took him out afterwards? Okay, that happens all the time. But now it's really, okay, you take my wise man from me? You take my wise man? And it also sets up of Roman Reigns saying to Paul, come on. This isn't a favor. You're my wise man. And then Paul Heyman got it. I owe him a favor. He entered War Games. He helped us out. You're the tribal chief again because of CM Punk. That storytelling to the next level. I think that's going to happen. Let me know in the comments what you think. By the way, subscribe, like, follow, share. If you're a wrestling fan, we do this once a week. Try to do more. Hit that little thumbs up on the YouTube page. Subscribe, like, follow, share. Our final break. A good Raw and a great opening segment next on the OVE podcast. Hey, it's Torg for Custom Air. You know, when it comes to my HVAC system, I don't trust just anyone. I trust Custom Air. These guys are fast, reliable, and they know their stuff. Fall's just around the corner, and now's the perfect time to make sure your HVAC equipment is running at its best. Don't wait until it's too late. Get ahead of the game. I wouldn't trust anyone else with my home, and neither should you. Visit them on the web at customairco.com and keep your home comfortable all season long. Custom solutions, custom comfort, Custom Air. Thinking of buying or selling a home? Give Lauren Torgerson a call with Next Home Experience. Lauren has been servicing the Columbus metropolitan area for 10 years. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, considering building, want to upsize or downsize, Lauren can help you with all your real estate needs. Get a free market analysis for your area and get started working on making tomorrow's dreams happen today. Call or text Lauren at 614-296-3952, 614-296-3952, or email at torgersonlauren@gmail.com. We are back on the OVE podcast. Wrestling edition, Ohio versus everyone, Ohio sports, hurt at work in an accident. Let attorney Robert Schuerger go to War for You at warforyou.com. Remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. Harry put in the chat, are you giving a prediction or a spoiler? I'm very honest. I don't really. Here's who I know in wrestling. At one point, I knew JBL, but he doesn't remember me because I just saw him at SummerSlam and he didn't remember who I was. And that was a long time ago. My buddy, Vic Joseph, is a friend of mine. Vic, trust me on this, doesn't know a lot. Probably knows the script on NXT. He's not on the, because I did ask him, like, hey, do you know stuff that's coming? I didn't ask him specifically. Hey, when there's someone coming or going or storylines, do you not know? He goes, dude, I get my script on NXT. Because that's my direction. I know what the night's matches are, what I can do, what changes. No, so when it comes to spoilers and you're watching the show, that's not what I do, or I wouldn't do it anyway, even if I did know. Just from the standpoint, I know BJ looks at the dirt sheets. I do a little bit. But one thing that I like doing is the psychology of wrestling. I like prediction of storylines. And like I mentioned, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. A lot of times I'm wrong. But I just kind of think out of the box a little bit of what I would like, how to make it more interesting. And I love wrestling. I love everything about it. I love the builds. I love the little things. Like I mentioned last week with AEW, where their stupid refs hold the ladders for people. There's got to be some type of realism in a sport where you know the outcome, right? There's got to be realism because we are smarter than that. So that's why I mentioned the favor. When CM Punk says that's not the favor, I immediately thought that the favor is to build this, because you got to build the animosity. If this is the main event of WrestleMania and you're going to do 2 nights and 1 title's on the other, and they've totally screwed the pooch on the Gunther Jey Uso, even though they told us the Royal Rumble winner main events WrestleMania. They said it. They shouldn't have said it. They should have said the winner gets the title match at WrestleMania. But every guy who started the Royal Rumble said, I'm going to main event WrestleMania. They shouldn't do that anymore, because now it's happened a couple times, right? It's happened a few times now where WWE has that Royal Rumble and it's not the main event, or they do an elimination chamber and they set up the main event that way. I want to talk about the Cena, Cody Rhodes confrontation to begin Monday Night Raw in the O2 zone in London. I am not a Cody mark. I don't like Cody. I don't hate Cody, but I think he's just a guy. I don't think there's any charisma. I think he's a good wrestler, decent. So what do you want to talk about? Mike's skills average. Cody Rhodes does not elevate the talent that's with him. The talent that's with him elevates Cody Rhodes. Tell me a match or a feud where Cody Rhodes made the other guy better. I'm waiting. What helped Cody Rhodes is wrestling with the torn pec. That helped. Kudos to that. He was in Hell of a Cell with Seth Rollins, and he wrestled with the torn pec. And discoloration, kudos. I can't take that away. That was fantastic. But one thing, John Cena, I put copy points of what John Cena said to Cody Rhodes. Tell me if this is not true. John Cena said, I never left the company. You can't carry the company like I did. You were handed your spot. And remember this, folks. Whoever was going to beat Roman Reigns needed that love, and it was a special spot. Has Cody Rhodes really done anything with that spot? He's held the title. But has he elevated anybody else with that gift of beating Roman Reigns? Just like we said last segment earlier in the show, if you beat The Undertaker and snap his streak, you better do something with it. If you snap Roman Reigns' streak, you better do something with it. And I don't think, my opinion, you can disagree. That's what this show is about. It's good to disagree. I don't think giving Cody Rhodes the title for a full calendar year equates to that. Oh, well, he's held the belt for a year. Who cares? Okay, he's had the belt for a year. Rivalries against AJ Styles, Kevin Owens twice, SummerSlam with Solo Sikoa, where he needed Roman Reigns to help him. And those are his feuds. That's been Cody Rhodes' feuds all year long. Those are his feuds. Tell me where he elevated anyone else in AJ Styles. I like AJ. But that's not gonna, your first feud from Roman Reigns is AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, who you're friends with, good guy Kevin Owens, Solo Sikoa, back to Kevin Owens. Some of the other things John Cena said: you're stealing money from the owner's kid. You're not authentic. You're rehearsed. You're a generic mix of favorites. Cena said, give me garbage and I make it great. It was true. Cena, you give him garbage like Austin Theory at WrestleMania and he makes it great. You may not like John Cena, but he was spot on in this promo. And then Cody gave him a crossroads. If you're watching on Instagram, flip on over. I forgot Instagram only gives us an hour. So I've gone an hour. So if you're on Instagram, hopefully switch on over. Just got the notification. But everything John Cena said in that promo was damn true. You're not authentic. You're rehearsed. You're a generic mix of your favorites. And then Cody chucks back, well, I'm a working man wrestler just like my dad. Oh, people don't say to me, I can't wrestle. You're right, Cody. People have said to John Cena, you can't wrestle. I think we know John Cena can. He's actually got, I thought at the last full-time run by John Cena, I thought he was his best wrestling. Because John Cena, much like Randy Orton, I'm gonna take a shot at Randy Orton here. And he's a GOAT. But Randy Orton has a set of moves that he uses every match, and he doesn't shy away from it. He pounds the mat. He clotheslines. He does the stomp on different body parts. He does the same things every match. He does. Much respect to him. He's a Hall of Famer. He's great. 14-time champ. John Cena, for a period, was doing the same damn crap. Then John Cena switched it up on his last run. John Cena was a pretty damn good wrestler on the end of his last run. I thought John Cena, and these promos have been great back and forth. I thought Cody Rhodes, the first time they talked, when Cody Rhodes said, I don't want to wrestle this bitch. Who are you? I was excited to wrestle the old John Cena, not this whiny old man. I thought that was great by Cody. I thought that was his best promo. It was so short and little, just basically came out and said, this is the guy that turned on me? But he hasn't been able to maintain that. The thing about Road to WrestleMania, when you're building the main event, the final match in WrestleMania, is it's got to be built up. And Cody has not maintained that excellence that John Cena has. John Cena's gone on the mic for 25 minutes without a script. He's not writing stuff on his hand. And he remembers everything. He's hitting his mark. That was John Cena's best promo. And it was personal to Cody. And if you're smart, you see, here's the difference. You can like Cody Rhodes, and that's fine. I'm not saying you can't like him. He's the champ. He beat Roman Reigns. He's the good guy. He's the likable favorite. Yay, Cody Rhodes. Yay. I am Cody, Team Cody. Dad's a plumber. He's the champ. Yay, Cody. You can like Cody Rhodes. I'm not judging you or saying you're a dope for liking Cody Rhodes. But if you're honest about Cody Rhodes' run, not authentic, rehearsed, generic mix of favorites, stealing money from the owner's kid. Come on. He nailed it. And the only thing, the reward for Cody Rhodes taking it was Cody Rhodes getting the physical one-up on John Cena, giving the crossroads. And look at how John Cena sold that crossroads. Where sometimes guys like roll away, or after like a 5-second thing, they kind of roll and move. John Cena wasn't moving. That's John Cena putting Cody Rhodes over in a little way. That's what I talk about the little things in wrestling that a lot of people don't notice. Go back and watch that match. Or not that match, that interaction. Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads and John Cena's out. He's putting Cody Rhodes over. Little Italy is Rock. I'm giving freebies out today. Little Italy is Rock going to play into the match. Of course he is. 100%. I think now that they get back in the States, it's going to be easier now for Rock to get involved, but absolutely The Rock's going to get involved. I would think Stone Cold gets involved. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Other people are going to get involved. Little Italy, by the way, that would be great if old classic Jim Ross was there and Cody Rhodes gave John Cena the crossroads and old JR, he's dead! He's dead! John Cena's dead! That would have been classic. One more quick thing. One longer thing, one quicker thing. I can't read. WWE finally listened to me. WWE killed Jey Uso's push. Jey Uso was arguably the most popular wrestler heading into the Royal Rumble. Most popular wrestler. Then when he got a shot to Gunther, you had him lose to Gunther 2 weeks before the Royal Rumble, and then now you expect me to believe that he's going to win? Now that he's won the Royal Rumble, give me one more chance. In the whole Gunther, I don't respect you card, and Jay's doing these segments with Alpha Academy and Otis. I mean, can you find a a group on the scale? Alpha Academy is the Chicago White Sox of the WWE. Don't worry, Browns fans. I'm not going to pick on you. They are. They are the Chicago White Sox of the WWE. And would Major League Baseball have the LA Dodgers? If you're doing a promo like Major League Baseball and they have all the stars, right, come together, do you think Major League Baseball would have the Yankees, Dodgers, and the White Sox in group promos together promoting the sport? That's called marketing. You're marketing your champs. You're marketing the best. Those backstage segments are done for a reason. And you have Jey Uso hanging out with Alpha Academy, guys the week before who are doing TikTok dances. And that's how they started this Gunther and Jey Uso rivalry. It sucked. It sucked. But now, and they listened to me. I was saying, how do you make this interesting between Jey Uso and Gunther? You have Gunther go to SmackDown and kick the crap out of Jimmy Uso. I've been saying it since the Royal Rumble. I've been saying it for 2 months. Get me emotionally connected into a match I don't give a crap about. I don't care about Gunther and Jey Uso because I saw it 2 weeks before the Royal Rumble. I don't care about the yeet. I don't care. I personally don't care. I know the fans do, and Michael Cole can't do it, and he looks like he's a beautiful Rain Man, whatever. He can't do it. It's kind of funny. But outside of the yeet, and I'd probably do it too if I was there. I don't know if I'm with my kid, right? I don't mind the yeet. I like the yeet. It's very popular. It's made him a lot of money. I don't mind the yeet. But outside of the yeet, what did it have? What did Gunther and Jey Uso have outside of the yeet? Well, now you had Jimmy slap Gunther. They set up a match. Gunther beats the piss out of Jimmy Uso. Puts him in the sleeper, doesn't let go. Jay comes out. Gunther does his, I'm going to hide in the crowd, come back, zip ties Jey Uso. Oh, and guess what I'm going to do? Jimmy Uso's already bloody. I'm going to belittle him and beat the piss out of him more. Now, will Jimmy Uso be back for WrestleMania and involved in that 4-way U.S. title match that I was talking about earlier? I don't know. But now you made me care about this feud because it's gone beyond the, I don't respect you, or I'm hanging out, I'm going to rescue Otis. Now you've made it personal. Now you've made me care. The problem is it too late? Did you already screw this up? Because you already screwed it up. You already screwed it up from a standpoint, it can no longer be main event of night one of WrestleMania, because that was the goal. With the most popular guy winning the belt, hopefully, main event of WrestleMania. That was the goal. You should have set up with that Royal Rumble run. The problem is, and this is not on Jey Uso, and this is not on Gunther. This is on WWE Creative doing things to not. Bret Hart was the respectable, and I guess the Ring General stuff with Gunther. But it's 2025, man. I don't respect you. Okay. You don't respect him. Of course, you beat him 2 weeks ago. Why should you respect him? But that was the angle they were taking. Now they made the angle of you just beat the crap out of my bro. Right? You beat the crap. Hell, he should have beat the crap out of Sami Zayn. Should have did this a long time ago. But I'm glad they reversed course and they did it now. Because now the fans, the yeeters, are really going to care. Smart move, WWE. You picked it out of the toilet bowl. You picked out the golden nugget, and you're doing something with it. Kudos to you. But I think you knew the direction it was going to, and you saved it. Because it was going in an I don't give a crap way. Now I care. Good job. That's good creative. Something I don't care about, a double DQ in the women's match, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. Could see that coming a mile away. Does it still make you care, though? Io Sky beating him up at the end. I cared about Io Sky, Rhea Ripley from the standpoint of Rhea Ripley can't beat her. I cared about Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I don't care about Io Sky. Io Sky's a great wrestler. Can't do promos because she can't speak English. Doesn't have a manager with her to speak English. I know she has Dakota Kai, but she doesn't do the speaking for her. Io Sky, to get over, needs someone to speak with her, for her. Bayley did that. But Io Sky, to me, is just there to take the pin. Okay, that's it for wrestling this week. Let me insert our close because I don't have that right now. There we go. All right, we are back Friday. Sports Talk, me and Sam. Appreciate you. Remember, subscribe, like, follow, share. Remember the website, the OVE podcast it's just the OVEpodcast.com. The OVEpodcast.com, no WW. All right, have a good weekend, buddy. Or have a good week, everybody. We'll talk to you Friday.
Well, of course. I mean, there's nothing better than being American. So, I mean, this is the greatest feeling. If you don't love it, leave it. USA, #1.